Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the instant match reaction. West Ham United 2, Everton 0. Another disgraceful performance. But I wouldn't even call it disgraceful. You've got to have a bit of life or a bit of something about you to be a disgrace. One shot on target the entire game. And I believe Farhad Moshiri has just said it's not his job to sack him. What is your job? What is your job? You are an owner of a football club. What is your job? If it's not your job, all this week we've heard people say, oh, well, it's all Moshiri and, you know, the board don't do anything and all this kind of thing. And now Moshiri's coming out saying it isn't his job to sack him. What should we do? Should we all get together and decide amongst ourselves as fans what we should do? Because it's all us, isn't it? It's all on us, isn't it? So what's going on at this football club? What is going on at this football club? Absolutely scandalous. The game itself was shocking. What's mad is we controlled the game. Use the word control very, very loosely. Just let me say that. We passed the ball around aimlessly for 30 minutes. Without having a shot on target. We had basically the sniff of a VAR decision, and that was it. They got one chance and they took it. They got another chance and they took it, and that was the game. We had one shot, all target. One shot on target, all game. There was no fight. There was no leadership, no heart. The people who were supposed to be leaders, Connor Cody and Tarkowski and Yerry Mina, useless. Great coming out, Yerry, telling everybody what we're going to do to fans. Useless. Yeah. They look a team, 20th game of the season, and they look like a team who already know they're relegated. Just shocking. And then the board were all there. I seen at the end Bill Kenwright just sitting there on his own, cutting a very, very, very sad figure. And I did feel sorry for him for a moment. But then I realised that he shouldn't be at this club. He shouldn't be anywhere near this club. He should have retired years ago. Should have retired when Moshiri came, and whatever happened. The same as now. There's just no. I've been saying this all week. In the last couple of days, I've felt this, like, I have not felt it personally, but I've felt this faint whiff of optimism from some of our fans. I don't know why. I think it started when I seen a poll put out by, I think it was someone on Twitter. I think it was 1878. Fan group going, should we pack in, you know, protests to get behind the team? And I seen it was about 60-40, I think, or something like that, in favour of continuing. But I just thought 40% of the people really believed that we should just pack in protesting. And then the Danjuma signing coming, and I just noticed people. And then today I seen people going, we'll win this today. And it just baffles me how some people think. It baffles me how easily it feels like some people can be bought by, you know, the sniff of a new signing or a little bit of optimism, you know, being fed out there by certain people. It's nonsense. This club is rudderless. I've been saying it all week. It's rudderless. It has no leaders. It's great they all showed up today, but they can't show up at Goodison. Everyone's seen the video of Frank before the game. Fair play for Frank for putting himself out there, for speaking to fans. I mean, he looked like he was absolutely shitting himself, but fair play to him for speaking to the fans. But you talk about safety issues at the football club, and a gang of fans who, listen, were all dead sound and would always be dead sound, like they were last week. We're allowed to go up to a Premier League manager and basically, you know, have a chat with them. And as I said, dead amicable. The lads were all sound, but the club fear, and they can't turn up, and yet let the manager just be approached by anybody. They're just full of nonsense. I'm not gonna try and keep the swearing down in this, because quite frankly, I want as many people as always to watch this video without anyone going, "Ooh, you swore. You're a bad person." So I'm not gonna swear. It just beggars belief. Luke on the super chat says, makes you wonder how clueless we were throwing the book at Silver when the real problems that are there. And Ronnie says, Ronnie O'Sullivan, is it like that? Come practice on 147, says, surely that's Lampard's last game. What I would say, Luke, on the Silver thing, and listen, even Baz will who says this, and he was Silver's biggest fan, is that he deserved to be sacked in the end. Let's get it right. He deserved to be sacked. So, yeah. But I don't know. I honestly don't know what is happening. That's appalling, that today. That is absolutely appalling. Football-wise. Really, really bad. Really, really bad. Second half, absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm just watching a video of Bill Kenwright coming out of the ground here. All smiles. All smiles. All smiles. And they're saying it's not, Farhad Moshiri on Sky Sports, try and get you the quote. It's not my decision to stick with or sack Frank Lampard. Well, whose decision is it then? Whose decision is it? Whose decision is it then? Who makes those decisions? What the hell is going on at this football club? Who makes those decisions then? We keep on being told that, the owner does everything and he has the final say on everything. Does he? Who's making the decisions? Is he such a coward? Is he that much of a coward that he can't even answer a straight question? Peggy says Frank's heart is in right place, just isn't good enough. I couldn't care less if his heart's in the right place or not. I really don't. Who cares if his heart's in the right place? I give him monkeys. I get your sentiment, but who cares if his heart's in the right place? I've seen people, talking about this. I don't care less if his heart was in the right place or not. He's not a very good manager. Said it for as long, said it basically the whole time he's been here. He's just not a very good manager, and the players are not good enough. Again, you'll get players coming out saying, we're fighting. We didn't look like you were fighting today. You didn't look like you were fighting for the team. You're just going through the motions. The only one who looked slightly like he had anything about him today was Onana, and he's going to make someone a really good. He's going to make him someone's midfield really good next season, or a lot better next season. Once he's had a season of football under his belt, Premier League football under his belt. It's just. I mean, I was watching the game and I wasn't sitting there like getting dead angry, because we were just crap. We were just crap, and so I wasn't getting dead angry. But things like that make me angry. Hearing things like that make me angry. It's not my decision. Well, whose decision is it then? Are you passing the buck? You're the owner of the football club. Are you passing the buck? Sorry, I'm trying to do 12 things at once here. We're just rudderless. We've got 2 weeks now to the next game. We might get a couple in, of course. Looks like Danjuma's close. Will we get another one after that? I don't know. But just on the game, going back to the game, I mean, as I said, started brightly, 30 minutes, just moving the ball around essentially. Wasn't really doing anything. Then they just got a goal off nothing. Got 3 big centre-backs, by the way, and not one of them can deal with that ball into the box. Not one of them can deal with that ball in the box. And then the soft second goal. What is Tarkowski doing? What is Tarkowski doing for that goal? Sliding in. The people I feel really sorry for today was people who lumped on Danny Ings to score. Feel sorry for you. Mikey Smith says Ken Wright looks seriously ill. He is ill. He is ill. He's 77 years of age. He doesn't need this kind of hassle. Nicholas Alexanderson says, first time in my life, we're the worst team in the league. We are. We are the worst team in the league. We're absolute dross. David Moy says, I would hate to think Everton would go down because they mean so much to me. Come be our manager then. Second half of the game, he sends on Dwight McNeil, left wing back. Probably should have started. Sends on Tom Davis, right wing back. And you know what? They did have an effect. They pushed. We got higher up the pitch, although they did drop back. Obviously, they were 2-0 up. They sat in. We didn't make any chances, really. We had one where Iwobi slid the ball across and Dom missed it by an inch. The only thing Dom had done basically all day. And they just sat in and they hit us on their counter-attack. And I think Pickford had to make one really good save, which he pushed onto the bar. And they've just seen the game out, haven't they? They've seen the game out. No issues. We didn't. But the worst thing is, it's not the worst thing. There's a lot of really worse things. But the last 10, 15 minutes, why aren't you throwing Ellis Sims on? Why aren't you throwing Maupay on? Why aren't you trying to get something out the game? Why aren't you throwing everything at them? Why? It's not impossible. Just because you're crap in a game of football doesn't mean you can't get something out of it. You change the flow of the game. No ideas on the pitch, no ideas off the pitch. You know, and I think this is where actually we do need a new manager. It's synergy, says Tom Davis was the only one with heart. He had to go. He always does. I think this is where you look at it and do think we need a change, because ultimately that team today was... By the way, let me know what my audio's like. I've had to change my mic because I can't get my mic to work for some reason. I've changed all my setup and my mic's not working, and I had to get on it. That's why I would have been on it earlier. So let me know if it's all right. Let me know if my mic's all right. They've got no new ideas. There's no new ideas. Why is he still playing Michalenko? He's not good enough. I said this weeks ago. Oh, he is. Everyone's telling me he's great. He's not. He is bang average. Bang average. He is a championship fullback. He is a championship fullback. I said this weeks ago. And if I think Dwight McNeil should start instead of him, then what does that say? He is bang average, and we played him again. You know, why is he persisting with the same players? Change it up a bit. Change it up. Carla says, you guys deserve a medal for talking about this crap on a daily basis. Cheers for the constant group therapy. Thanks, Carla. But change things up. Put Dwight McNeil in at right back. Play Anthony Gordon at right wing back. Or whatever. Get Sims up front after half an hour. Change it. Change something. Today he just looked like a beaten man, Frank. And that's the sign that it's done. Sam C says, thank God Villa, Forest and Brighton scored late on. Yeah, that's actually, well, for a while in the second half, we were bottom of the table, and we were well bottom of the table. I just how bad do things have to get? How bad do things have to get for this to change? The thing about anyone who's been watching me, I'm not calling. I've not called for Frank Lampard to be sacked, because, as I've said earlier, I think the problem's bigger. But I think obviously today, I think there's only one decision that can be made today. He's completely lost. You know, you bring someone in now, you've got 2 weeks till the Arsenal game. You can get a couple of players in, and that's their manager. They don't deal with anyone else in that time. There's no confusion. Frank looks a beaten man. Frank just looks a beaten man because and that once a player once a manager looks like they've lost the plot, then, and they've got no ideas. Because at the end of the day, 30 minutes to go, you're 2-0 down. Yes, you've brought wing backs on and they're getting you a little bit higher up the pitch, but you're still lacking that spark. Change it. Put Ellis Sims on. Go 2 up front. You know, take Garner off or something. Onana, I thought, was fine in the midfield today. It suits that kind of pace. Suits him. That kind of the pace of the game that Everton plays suiting him. Actually, he's getting him into games. And I do think you're starting to see a decent player there, and he'll get better. I don't know what he was doing for the second goal, by the way. He just let Bone run past him. But I'll talk more about that when I do the player ratings. But just change it. Take Garner off, or take Awobi off. Awobi was crap. Apart from one ball, he was crap. JR says, worst points tally in 20 games for our entire history. No decision to be made whether Frank should be here. Sorry, these chats coming quick. No decision made whether Frank should be here. Should have been legged after last season. Well, he should have definitely been legged after Bournemouth now, I think. But it's all hindsight, isn't it? Posh Matty says, Mashiri must know, if we don't buy attackers now, we go down. The TV money goes, the stadium sponsor doesn't come, and the asset is worthless. Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. And this is why I don't understand. This is why I can't understand why they haven't done anything. This is why his assets becoming worth less and less every day. His asset is worth less every single day. The stadium, yes, it's getting built and it's great and it gives us something to look forward to, but it's going to be meaningless if it is in the Championship. And after 20 games and you're on 15 points and you look terrible and you can't score and you've been beaten by West Ham, Southampton, Wolves, Bournemouth twice. You can't exactly say we've had a it's because we've played the tough games. The tough games are coming now. Arsenal, Liverpool, and all the others after it. Every game's a difficult game now. We're near rock bottom, aren't we? But we're only off the bottom on goal difference. It's astonishing that at what time are we on now? 13 minutes to 6 as it stands, as we are live. That we haven't heard anything. They were all there today, and there's just a vacuum of power. There's a vacuum. There's no one making tough decisions. Nobody making tough decisions, and this is the issue. And all we've heard all week is people, telling us that it's got nothing to do with the board and it's all because of Mashiri. Well, Mashiri's just thrown it back on the board. He's just thrown it back on the board, hasn't he, now? Not my decision. Well, whose decision is it then? Well, are we sat here with a lame duck of a manager? Frank Lampard knows it's done. He knows. See his face before the game. See the press conference on Thursday. He knows it's all over. This can't be turned round. This cannot be turned round. Or certainly he can't turn it round. It's just... And I've seen something this morning. I've seen, like, the people who are like, you can't sack the board. There's bigger things to worry about, like relegation. Like, isn't it all the same thing? But the board won't go anywhere because they've got to make decisions, haven't they? They've got to find a new manager. That'll keep them busy for 2 weeks. They've got to authorize new players. That'll keep them busy for 2 weeks. I think for people in campaigns and stuff like that, what's important is they don't let this 2 weeks just go away. They have to make sure that they are putting or continuing the fight, and it's not just there at the ground. I mean, seeing the banners today, and I heard, you heard towards the end, fans singing, and that's brilliant. But I think the next 2 weeks can't be avoided. People have to make their voices known. And of course, that's where the media play their part as well. And I'm sure the media will be all over this. Looking for content. It's just... As said, it's not. I'm not like I've been angrier because I was real like last season. Well, anyone who watched this channel seen how angry I was last season. I've been quite calm about the whole thing because I don't have any optimism that will stay up. I generally don't, and loads of people will take that in loads of different ways, and I understand that. But I look at fundamental things, and I was talking to some Evertonians yesterday that will all be there today. Good Blues who've been going for a very long time. And listen, they're not big mouths like me. They're just people who go home and away. And they just said to me, they all said, we're getting relegated. And that's it. These are fellas in the 50s who go home and away every single week. And they said, we're going down. They just said the club's rotten to the cause. And again, it was interesting hearing that as well, because they're not people who go on social media and stuff like that, so it's really interesting listening to them talk about it. But most people who go understand. There's a section of fans out there that still are, it's only halfway through the season and what are you going on about? And if we get this player in and we get that player in, fine, I applaud your optimism. And I think it is important that we keep on fighting. I think it is important. You should never settle, should never sit here going, we're going down and that's the end of it. What's the point? No, there is always a point. You're always going to fight for your football club. But you can do all of it. You can do all of it. And that's where that tweet from the 1878 originals annoyed me. I don't know who put it out, but it really annoyed me, that tweet. Of, we have to get behind the team. You can do both. And you are getting behind the team, as far as I'm concerned, by going after these charlatans. As far as I'm concerned, you are getting behind the team. If you're there protesting and saying, telling the truth and saying what these people are doing is a disgrace, then you are helping the team, as far as I'm concerned. You're helping the manager, if you still back the manager, by outing these people. You are, because these people are a cancer to the football club. They're an absolute cancer. And it's terminal now. It is terminal. And they're destroying the club from the inside. You see Ken Wright sitting there, right? Matt says, will we survive in the Championship? I don't know, mate. You see the board sitting there, right? And, you see Bill sitting there at the end, and it's all dead sad. Poor Bill. He gets paid to do that job. He's not a charity worker. Feel sorry for all the people, all the boys and girls who were on the fans forum. Feel sorry for my missus who does her game too, who's had to deal with all that shit all week. You know, volunteers. Feel sorry for them. Feel sorry for the fans. Feel sorry for the people who pay money to go and watch Everton, not the people who are paid to be there watching Everton. Feel sorry for them. Because I'm sick to death of these people getting away with it all the time. And again, there'll be stuff tonight. I don't know what the media will say. I hope Ian writes on Match of the Day. I don't know whether he is or not, but I hope he is. And I hope he says something. That comment by Misheri is laughable. Is absolutely laughable. What he said there. It's not my decision. I don't know what Bill said because I'm trying to do 10 things at once. But it's laughable that he's come out after the game and said it's not my decision. And that I have to just say as well, because I do look, it makes me laugh as well that people say things like, oh, you got yourselves in this position as fans. Why? Because we want it better for our club. You know, why did you sack Silva? Why did you sack Martinez? If you'd watched the last 18 months of Martinez's football, you'd understand why we sacked Martinez. It was dreadful. If you'd watched Marco Silva trying to form a sentence in a press conference, you'd understand why he was sacked. But it's not we didn't sack him, by the way. And it wasn't our responsibility to find their replacement. And it's not our responsibility to put a plan together. Okay, so Bill said we need to start winning games, don't we? Well, you absolute genius. No wonder you're the chairman of a Premier League club. The mad thing is, I have a mate. And people will know who he is if they watch Toffee TV and have in the past. I have a mate who works in the game. Who's got himself into the game. With his knowledge of stats and his knowledge of players and scouting. And he's been telling me all this for months and almost probably the whole time I've known him. How rotten to the core Everton are and what they had to do to change it. And every week he just laughs. And he laughs at Frank Lampard because he says he's a terrible manager. And he laughed when everyone said how good we were defensively this season. He laughed because the data didn't back it up. He laughs the way we're still run. Even though Kevin Felwell's there, he just laughs because he just says none of it's real. None of it's real. It's all built on sand. And I guarantee if him and his company went into our club, they'd get it sorted out. And the problem is these people won't let anyone in. And that's the problem. You know, they will not let anyone in to the club to let someone else sort it out because they won't sell it. They won't get off the board. Like, again, I said this last week. What is Graham Sharp doing? Resign. Leave, get off the board. Because what I've noticed is, all the people who used to be a little bit vocal about Everton have stopped being vocal because Graham Sharp's on the board. Peter Reid was on TV the other day. Oh, we all have to be together in this. No, Peter, that's not enough, mate. Nev's gone quiet. And it's probably because their mate Sharpie's on the board. Sharpie has to walk. Someone has to have a word with him. Someone from the playing side that he played with. He's got to walk. Set a precedent if you're an Evertonian. The thing is, I think most Evertonians watching this probably feel exactly the same as me now. None of them feel like this can be sorted out unless something massive happens in the next 2 weeks. Unless something massive happens. And it'd have to be massive, wouldn't it? And I don't know if it's going to be there. Someone just asked me there, would I walk? Yes, I would walk. Graham Sharp is an Everton legend. Why does he need any of this? Why does he need any of this? He doesn't need it. He's an Everton legend. And you know what? If he came out now, he'd be a bigger Everton legend. If he walked now and said, I can't be part of this, Apparently Frank Lampard has said, I'm going to keep working and trying to do the best I can for the club. Well, fair play, Frank, fair play. I don't know, you're not going to throw yourself on a sword, I get that. But for me, someone like Graham Sharp should just walk. You're an Everton legend. He's a non-executive member of the board. Just walk, resign from the board. Say, I can't do this anymore. I am not going to be party to this. Because everyone just laughs. Every Evertonian is sitting there who loved you, thinking, you've sold out, mate. You've sold out. It's just shite, innit? It's just absolutely shite. Would I walk away from Toffee TV? Mate, this isn't a football club. This is a company. I get paid. This is mine. I own it with Baz. That's the difference. I can actually shape things. I do shape things. That's the difference for my company. Graham Sharp doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything. It's time to walk away. If you fucking hell, if you're comparing me doing this to Graham Sharp sitting on the Everton board, then you've got a really warped sense of what goes on in the world. Walk away. Graham Sharp could walk away and still make loads of money. He could make £500 every Friday night by doing after dinner speaking. He could be on Sky. He could do whatever he wanted. He could anything. Anything he wanted. Make a stand. Stand up for the club. Stand up for the club and walk away. Anyway, the game... How much have we talked about the game? Hardly any. The game was terrible. The players looked like they had no clue. And we looked lost out there. I mean, West Ham weren't great. They did what they needed to do. And once they'd done that, the game was over. Once they went 1-0 up, that was pretty much it. But once they went 2-0 up, that was definitely it. That was definitely it. Hang on. Just putting the tweet out that... the video out, sorry, of Bill Kenwright. Gotta do 10 things at once. Someone's just asked me there about like Snods and Graham Stewart. Well, they're slightly different, aren't they? They're slightly different. They're ambassadors of the club. I wouldn't, if they want to go, they have got jobs. They do work for the club. They're ambassadors. They're slightly different. Listen, if they want to resign, they can resign. That's fine as well. They're slightly different. Graham Sharp is part of the board, and the board are the problem. It would be make a major statement. It would be a major statement if he walked away. Wouldn't really be a major statement if Snods and Graham Stewart walked away. I've just put the video up there of Bill Kenwright and Farhad Mashiri. It's just on our Twitter there. It's just grim, innit? It's just grim. It's just a grim situation. It's not a great league. Fucking hell, Liverpool, what? We should be going into the derby in a couple of weeks flying, shouldn't we? Thinking, we've got a chance to beat them. Not that we would, but you know what I mean. They're crap, and they'll batter us. Probably. Ian Allenson says, mate, I agree about relegation. It's a culture and a structure that dictates fortune, not a single player. An ailing bloke in his 70 can't continue. Yeah, it is, mate. It is. How can a 77-year-old run the football club? Genuinely, how can a 77-year-old run the football club? It's embarrassing. And part of me does feel sorry for him. But, hey ho. Right. I'm just waffling on, aren't I? But loads of people are watching me like waffle on, so I don't know. I'm just like waiting to see if anything happens. If anything breaks, but yeah. I don't think it will. Frank Lampard says we need to try and help the squad and bring in players at the top end of the pitch to give us more goals. Our budget is very different to a lot of the clubs around us. Well, whose fault's that? Whose fault is that? Because it's not Frank's. That's not Frank's fault. That's not Frank's fault. Whatever is Frank's fault, that's not Frank's fault. That, again, that's the football club. How'd you get yourself in a situation where you can't even buy players? How'd you get yourself in that situation? By bringing in managers and just pouring money into bad recruitment. You know, Carlo, I like Carlo. He's a good manager. He's a great manager. He's a good manager for us. People have different opinions of him. Too big for us. Didn't really know how to handle the situation. Got off. Sound. But if you bring in someone like that, and he says, I want James, you've got to go and get him James. And that's £200,000 a week. That's Champions League money. That's money Everton haven't got. But they did it because they're thick. Whereas what they really should have done is gone and got David Moyes. And they were getting David Moyes. They were getting David Moyes. They were a day from getting David Moyes. They were about to get David Moyes. And what happens? Carlo got sacked from Napoli. So, you know, Billy Big Bollocks and his Russian mate get him on a yacht, convince him to come to Everton. I mean, how hard is it to convince someone to come to Everton when you're offering them the money they offered Carlo? He was going to retire. He was going to retire to Canada. He was going to live in Canada with his missus and just chill out for a bit. But Everton offered them silly, silly money that probably didn't have to offer him. Probably could have offered him half and he would have come. And he came. And we should have got David Moyes at the time. Because, and again, you know, people can have opinions, but it's about cutting your cloth. And what Everton had to do was they needed to get their heads down and start working the way out of trouble and get the money situation sorted. And they didn't. They poured. Well, that scene in The Dark Knight when the Joker sets fire to half the money. That was Everton when they brought Carlo in. They were only setting half of the money. But they set fire to all that money. Because you'd have to. You've been Carlo Ancelotti and you'd have to do that. We needed to rebuild at that point under Moyes, if we got Moyes, and rebuild accordingly. And we didn't. We just kept building. Instead of rebuilding, we kept trying to build on terrible foundations. At that point, we had to go back to our foundations. And, you know, listen, whether David Moyes was the right man or wasn't the right man, that's what we needed to do. And we didn't. We said, oh yeah, have all this, Carlo. And again, so then you go into the COVID. And actually, COVID saved the club financially. Because if we didn't have COVID and really good accountants, we would have got even more hammered for FFP. COVID probably saved us a little bit. Carlo goes, which probably saved Everton a fortune. Because he wouldn't have been able to justify the plays he wanted. So we probably would have gone one way or another. Bring in Rafa Benitez. He sacks after people. And then we bring Frank Lampard in. And this is where we are. So it's a mess. It's a mess of their making. I don't know how we get out of it. Someone's just said, go and have a pint. I don't drink anymore. What a time to give up alcohol. I don't drink anymore. Streaker says, Ped, new manager, 2 players can save us. Am I wrong? Name me the players and name me the manager. Name me the players and name me the manager. I'm not saying you're wrong. Just name me the players and the manager. Because you listen. But also the manager's got to be picked by these clowns. Talking of jokers. It has to be picked by this manager, this board. This board who won't even sack this fella. You want him to get the next one. So. There we have it. Anyway, it's all fun and games. Anyway, we're always going to be here. Don't worry about that. Rain, shine, we'll be here. Rogel says none of them are going until the tape is cut on the new stadium. The ticket is washed from the banks of the Royal Blue Mares. Unfortunately, I don't know if that's true, mate, because I don't know if they'll get that far. The club will be worth about the price of a box of Freddos by that time. So, someone just asked me there about Rooney, and I've seen his name mentioned loads of times. It's a difficult one. Wayne would be an interesting choice. I think a lot of people would hate it. A lot of people would think we were making the same mistakes that we've made under Frank. I think Wayne is a lot more, I don't want to say understands the club. I think he just gets it a bit more. I think the idea that you can't bring someone in like Wayne Rooney is not right, because I think, look at Arteta at Arsenal. I think at Arsenal he's done brilliantly. Slightly different position, although he did come in the same day we did get Carlo. He's been allowed to build. I think it all depends on the situation, doesn't it? I think Wayne Rooney, if he was allowed the time to build, could build something. But that might mean getting relegated and coming back. And I think that's what you are risking in that. I mean, it's dead easy to say what's Wayne Rooney done as a manager, but let's not forget the Derby situation. You know, he was their manager during a really, really, really horrendous time. But I don't know. I don't know personally. I don't know. There's a lot of people would say go and get Dyche, but then other people would say why would you get Dyche? Because he was, he's been relegated and all that kind of thing. So people don't want Dyche. People don't seem to want anybody. Nobody seems that me and Baz say this all the time. Nobody is the right fit for Everton because of the situation Everton find themselves in as a football club. Nobody is the right fit. Wayne Rooney could come in and if he was allowed to bring in good players and develop them with his coaches and build something with Kevin Felwell, it could all fall into place. Like any young manager, maybe even Frank Lampard could have done that. But the problem is, while there's sand under your feet, if they're your foundations, what chance have you got? What chance have you got to build anything at this football club if your foundations are just sand? So, I don't know is the answer. I don't know who's the right man for Everton Football Club. I just know that the person picking them isn't the right person. That's all I know as an absolute guarantee, that the person who has to pick the next manager as we speak is the wrong person to pick them. So, we'll wait and see. Right, I have talked far too much on this. It's like 45 minutes since I've started or something silly like that. So I'm going to go away. I'm going to have a think about my player ratings, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to do more ranting. There's a cup of tea over there and I haven't even had a drink of it, and I need to reach over and have a drink of it. So I'll be back in a little bit. Hopefully Baz will do his videos as well. And we'll catch you. Thank you for all the super chats as well. Much appreciated. Please do. If you ever want to do a super chat, that's great. But we would love you to come and join us on Toffee TV Premier as well. The link is in the description and it'll be on screen in a moment. Thanks for watching. See you in a bit.